And we are live. All right, let's refresh this. All right, give it a second.
Your thing is.
So this is broadcasting. That's good.
No, I'm not seeing it.
There we go.
Wait.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone. We're on a delay. That's going to be tricky.
It's okay. Welcome. This is our second live Q&A. This time we're going to be doing it in English. I'm Rigo, and this is Ken.
Hi, I'm Ken. It's great to see you here for the Spare5 live Q&A number 2. As Rigo said,
I'm Rigo, and this is Ken.
Hi, I'm
Ken.
Okay. As Rigo said, this will be in English. We may try to accommodate a little at the end, but for now, this is in English. The reason we asked you to join us in this, we would love to hear from you, the community. We'd love to know, hear your ideas, in a little more personal live setting than email or community forum. Yeah. So we'd love to hear your ideas. Let me check to see what you're writing. Hello. To start, I wanted to mention just a few of the things that Spare5 has planned for the next few months. We get a lot of suggestions by email, and we get a lot of suggestions in the forum. And there are some things which we know we can do better. And some of those things that we are working on right now, you can't see, but our offices are out the door over there. And people right now are working on lately, a lot of our tasks have had bigger, heavier images that we know sometimes take a long time to load. Sometimes after you've completed a task, take a long time to submit. Sometimes they get hung up, and we know that's a bad and frustrating experience. So one of the things we are working on over the next few months is definitely technical improvements to fix that, to make things run a little faster. We know it's a frustrating experience. It's high on our list to make that a better experience for you, especially as we get these, tasks with 100 outlines or our super pixels tasks, which take some time to load. Something else that we know is a frustrating experience and we are working on is what we call a task survey. And what that means is you go to your task list, you see there's a task available, you open it, you do 1 or 2, and then you're finished. Sometimes even there's no task. It says there's no tasks available. This is a tricky thing because sometimes there are just a limited number of tasks available, especially for a review task. A review task, you're waiting for tasks to be done so you can review them, and there might only be a few at a time. Now, that being said, we know it's a frustrating experience to wait for tasks and to only get to do 1 or 2, so we're really trying hard here to make that a better experience, to make sure that when you do start to task, you get a longer, to get more tasks available to do at one time. And just one more thing.
I see there's a lot of messages saying in Spanish they don't understand. Can I make a quick message in Spanish?
Oh, sure.
Saludos a todos de Spare5, soy Rigo y él es Ken. Nomás esto es un recordatorio para todos que este chat va a ser en inglés. Miro muchos comentarios en español. Saludos a todos en Venezuela. Pero este chat va a ser, la mayoría va a ser en inglés. Si al final tenemos tiempo, vamos a contestar preguntas en español. Pero la mayoría de la hora va a ser en inglés. Gracias.
Oh, thank you, Rigo. Gracias, Rigo. That is the Spanish I know, I'm afraid. And the last improvement we're working on, we get a lot of people asking for keyboard shortcuts for tasks, so you don't always have to use your mouse to click correct or incorrect, or just as you're doing tasks, you end up clicking the mouse over and over. We have a few available, but we're really, Spare5 is working to get more of these into our tasks to get, so it'll be a little smoother tasking experience. So you're not, relying on your mouse and moving back and forth. So you could really do tasks quicker and a little more efficiently. So a lot of things are being worked on just for a better tasking experience. They're not available today. It's really part of our plan for the next few months to get a lot of these up and running.
Okay. Well, looking at the comments, you want to address the elephant in the room before saying, where are my tasks?
Sure. The question we get the most is, where are the tasks? And we have if you've written to us about it, you know we have a number of answers we give. And those are the true answers. When there are tasks available and you're eligible for them, you'll see the task on your task list. If you're listening and you've been with Spare5 for a few months, for longer, you'll know that sometimes there are more tasks available than at other times. Writing to us will not get more tasks sent to you. I don't keep tasks. Enrico doesn't keep tasks that we give out when you ask for them. Right now, there's people in this room working to get more tasks up and running. We are always working hard. We're always working hard here. There's a team out there whose job it is to work with our existing partners, to get new partners, to get more tasks, to get better tasks up and running. And sometimes we're simply going to have more tasks available than at other times. Right now, if you've been with us for a while, you know this is a time where we just have less tasks than we did a few weeks ago. But it's less tasks than we will have a couple weeks or even days from now. Mm-hmm. When tasks are available to you, you'll see them on your task list. We make more tasks available to fives who have done better tasks and have been with us longer. But we do try to make tasks available to everybody who's eligible. So about the question, where are the tasks? That is the answer. We write some on our FAQ in both English and Spanish and Espanol. And we're always working hard to get more tasks up and running, to get better tasks, and to just make more tasks available to the community.
And on that note, I want to address a rumor that I saw in the comments earlier today. Some people were saying, if you don't have any tasks, just email support and they'll send you tasks. They'll send you super pixels. That's not the case at all. As Ken mentioned, I mean, we don't have the ability to say, oh, here you go, here have some tasks, here you go, here you go. They just, sometimes, there's a lot of reasons for why you may or may not be getting any task. And if you email us directly, doesn't mean you're going to get a task, as some people have said. One of the questions I keep seeing is, will there be more tasks in Spanish? We are working on that.
You could give a couple sentences on Espanol with that.
Okay. Estoy viendo comentarios sobre si habrá más tareas en español. Sí las va a haber en el futuro. Estamos trabajando en eso poco a poco. Ahorita no tenemos planes de tener la misma cantidad de tareas en español que en inglés, pero sí, son planes que tenemos de tener más tareas en el futuro en español.
Okay. We asked people to send out some questions in advance beforehand, and I just want to read a couple of them. Mm-hmm. Sendu, I don't see Sendu, but hello, Sendu is there. Sendu asked two questions. Sendu asked if there's any news of big projects coming soon. I could say we are definitely working to get some really major, large projects up and running. Unfortunately, I can't give specific details about them, but everyone here at Spare5 is working very hard to get new projects up and running, and you will be seeing them soon. These things take time to put together, both between us and our partners, but we are definitely working hard to get some major projects up and running soon. Sindhu also asked.
He says hi, by the way.
Well then hello. And Sindhu also asked when tasks are released. It's a question we get a lot. We have a community. We're speaking to people around the world, and the answer is. When we have a larger task, a task that runs for weeks or even months, those tasks will be available around the clock. Most Spare5 tasks, just because we're here in Seattle, right out there, I'll show you in a little bit, we're here in Seattle. So when we work on tasks here, when we get tasks up and running, there tend to be during our business hours. The engineers here and the task managers get tasks up and running or revised or fixed during our business hours. So if we have a small task, oh, can you give me the yellow, please? Yeah, thanks. If we have a small task that's only a small number of tasks in a set, and it's, it may be up and running during our business hours, and it may be, again, closed during the business hours, but when we have a really large task that we set up and running, it's going to be running around the clock. So it's something we've discussed here, trying to, fix the hours a little. It's difficult just because, as I said, for a small task, we're going to be working on it during our business hours. So hopefully that answered the question a little. We, of course, always try to have some very large-scale tasks running or about to run that could run whenever anyone around the world is tasking, so around the clock.
Jose is asking, is there a possibility to know when or why you are wrong in the task or test? Currently, we don't have a system that will automatically let you know. We hope to implement a feature like that gives you automatic feedback, but currently that's not an option.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's not an option on our tasks. We will be introducing this to more and more tasks. We've run it as tests in a few of our tasks. As you're tasking, if our system or if the review system finds that you're doing a certain part of the task incorrect, we will try to give you in-task feedback to help you improve. To give an example, if you're doing a bounding box task where we ask you to capture all furniture in a task, and the review finds that either your boxes are not drawn correctly or you're missing some, sometimes we say, hey, don't capture duplicate items, and maybe you're capturing duplicate items. Our system will try to find those errors, let you know as you're tasking that these errors are being detected, feed that to you like in the task, either in pop-up windows, and we've run this in a few of our smaller tasks, and we're really trying to work it out to get it into all of our tasks just to help Fives task better and know where they're having issues. It's something that is, again, on our priority list to work
on. Someone's asking if we're drinking vodka right now.
Are we drinking vodka right now? Well, you know, that's a game you could play. Check back in a half hour and see how we're talking, and if either this is water or we could hold our vodka very well. No, this is water. This is ice cold water because I'm not used to talking for an hour straight at a time.
Let's see.
Oh, we got another question
Sure.
earlier from Dale. Dale asked about Android, whether we're going to have Android up and running, and I'm afraid I don't have any new updates on that. It's a question we get a lot. It's something we're aware of. I've mentioned a few things we're trying to do, whether getting new tasks up and running or helping tasks run better, and Android's just kind of fallen below making our current systems run a little better than getting Android up and running. We are still hoping to have Android soon. I don't have a date for it, but as of now, no new Android plans. Dale did mention one thing, that when people are signing up for the referral program through Android, that the referral isn't taking. I'm going to look a little more into that to make sure there isn't some glitch where even if you're signing up through there, it's not working, or if there's something we could do about that. But as whether we'll have an Android app, there's no current date for it.
Okay, and on that note, someone is asking for updates on mobile tasks. Are they coming? That question. So any tasks, mobile or web, we're working with partners to get more tasks for you guys. We will be launching more mobile tasks in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. Let's see, what else?
Yeah, we're reading through your questions now. We'll pick out some good ones, see what's coming up a lot. And if you have any suggestions, anything, while you're tasking, you're like, oh, that could be better, that's something I would like them to do, please post that as well. We're going to be saving all these, even if we don't get to your question or your suggestion during the chat, we're going to be reading through everything that's been sent afterwards and, following up on it or taking a look at it. So
will tasks be made easier to load? Yes, as Ken mentioned at the beginning of the chat, we are working on improving the speed at which our tasks load. Some of the images and are very heavy currently, and so we're working on that. Hopefully you should see improvements over the next couple of months.
Yeah, getting questions about when you're tasking and you come across an error and it kicks it back to the task list. This is related to what I started with issues where the tasks are heavy and have difficulty submitting. We know it's a bad experience when you've spent time tasking and you submit it and you get that annoying pop-up error that the task could not be submitted. We know this is a bad experience. We are sorry about this, and that is part of the improvements that we're working on to to make sure that that doesn't happen. There's a few reasons why that happens. If you do see it happen as you're tasking, and unfortunately for that, you're unable to submit a problem because the task is already kind of ended, send an email to support@spare5.com. And when you do, say, hey, I was doing this task. I tried to, give us a little detail about it, because that helps us track down if there is an error with one specific task. So if you ever write to us about an error, please be sure to say what task you're working on. That, and obviously if a few people write in about the same task, we could take a look and make sure that task is running well.
Yeah.
But even in general, we're really working hard to make sure that you don't have the issues submitting tasks or loading tasks. It's a high priority for us.
On that note, Ken, people have questions. They're saying that you just addressed the no tasks are currently available when they kind of disappear from their dashboard.
Sure. So is this like in just a general?
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah, the task looks available. Sure. We have a lot of great members of the Spare5 community. And a lot of times, there's a limited number of tasks available and a lot of fives who are trying to do those tasks and get those tasks all at once. So if there's a few tasks available, it might appear on a lot of task lists, but by the time you try to access the task, someone else has already reserved it. We're focused on, as I said at the start, making our iOS and our web tasking experience smoother and better. That's something we've been working on trying to reduce. We think there's always going to be some of that just because if there's one task available and it shows up for Rigo's task list and my task at the same time and we both click on it, one of us will click on it first. But we know that's a tough experience, especially now when you're waiting for tasks. We're really trying to work on making sure there's less of that, but there may always be a little of that.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see what else we got up here.
Let's see, gonna take a little time to look through what people are writing. Ooh, let's see.
I see a lot of these questions that are being asked were already answered. If there's time, we'll address them, and then at the end, if not, when this video is over, you can go back and rewatch it as many times as you want.
There's a question about, there's a lot of new users coming in. We're working on creating an overall tutorial for the site, having sort of an introductory task. Right now, we do have the forums, we do have the frequently asked questions section. And of course, we have all the tutorials, training tasks, and qualifiers for the skills. We've gotten a few suggestions of having just more of a general task explaining how Spare5 works, and it's something that's on our list to work on here.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm getting a few questions about superpixels. I know that task is finishing up now. That task ran for a long time and is finishing up. What we do is when that happens, we take a look, at the results. We put it into kind of a major review. We look it all over. And sometimes there may be more tasks available in that skill, and other times there won't be. I can't get into a lot of details. It depends on our partners. It depends on what our partners are looking for. Of course, their needs. We work with, we get tasks basically from our partners. So I can't say now whether there will be more of those tests available. That was kind of a new skill for us. And we had a lot of tasks in that skill. So we're looking it over right now. We're seeing how the quality was, seeing if there's anything that could be improved, and then we'll discuss the next steps with our partners.
Cool. Do you get a Spare5 t-shirt when you reach $600?
Do I personally get a spare?
Yes,
I already got my spare. We already got ours.
Oh.
Yeah, as we discuss on the site, that U.S. law, that when you're approaching $600 U.S., of course, in tax, $600 in payouts, we do need some tax-related paperwork for you. And when that happens, as part of that, after we receive it all, we do send out a T-shirt to those fives. It's I wish we could send out more T-shirts. Honestly, it's a little tricky to do international mailing. I wish we could send everyone who's chatting right now a T-shirt, but the person out there in charge of sending out T-shirts is probably about to run in here and tell me to shut up. But yeah. So yeah, when you approach 600 and we send out paperwork for you to fill out, when you send it back, we work on sending you a Spare5 T-shirt.
Great. Let's see what else is happening.
All right, getting some good questions in. Let me. Spare5 from Venezuela. Very few. This is something that sometimes comes up. Very few tasks are based on where you live or demographics or anything like that. We occasionally do have some tasks that are based on certain areas, but pretty much all of our nearly all of our tasks are available to our entire community based on skills, based on how you've done on previous tasks. Mm-hmm. So sometimes we get, hey, why aren't you sending any tasks to the Philippines? Or why aren't you sending Vietnamese Spare5s don't have tasks? And that is simply not the case. Nearly all of our tasks are available to the entire community. It doesn't matter where you live or whether you're male or female or any demographics.
On that same note, sometimes we hear, oh, my friends are getting it, but I'm not. And what happens in that scenario is simply your friends are probably performing better than you are in a specific skill, and so that's why they might be getting the task and you are not.
Sure, I see. Let's see. There's a group of people who, in my opinion, are doing the task wrong just to receive the money and damage the Spare5 page. We give the best effort to keep the page ahead. This is something we take very seriously. We have a lot of tools to monitor and review fives tasking. We know there are fives out there who do not do good tasks. Either they don't understand the task, they're careless, sometimes they deliberately are just doing bad tasks. And that's why we have several different review systems. We internally review things. We have automatic review tasks that we run, and of course, the community reviews tasks. That's why it's important for review tasks to be done very well, and we also monitor review tasks to make sure those are being done well. But when we see a 5 is not tasking correctly, or if they have a high number of tasks that keep getting rejected, not even just one task set, like their super pixel scores are wrong, and then their fashion scores are wrong. And it doesn't take a lot for us to halt those 5s, to review them, to put them on a suspension or a timeout. And on serious cases, we remove them entirely from Spare5. Mm-hmm. So we take it very seriously. We value the 5s who are trying hard, who are submitting good tasks, and we do what we can to make sure that they get more tasks, and the people not doing that get less or no tasks. So it's it's tricky, and sometimes it's pretty hard, but we are working very hard to do that.
Yep. Okay, yeah, there's more comments on that. If you guys go through the chat right now, we have shared an article about the features, what you guys are helping us do. It's on Wired. Feel free to take a read. It's a great read.
Yeah, the article explains, a lot of times we get asked, hey, what's this task for? Why am I boxing all these cars or drawing outlines around the roads, and, different kinds of tasks. And in shorthand, a lot of your tasks are helping computers and artificial intelligence think and work better. In order for a computer to learn, the computer must have tools to learn, and that's what Spare5 is helping to provide. Mm-hmm. So that article kind of focuses a little on our autonomous driving, our self-driving cars. We're working with different companies on that, and that's what a lot of, especially obviously the road tasks are used for.
I want to dispel another rumor that we have. People think that we release tasks on a schedule. That is not the case. Tasks can be released at any time of the day, any day of the week. I know people sometimes message me saying, hey, I only get tasks like at 3 a.m. And again, that's just pure coincidence. It's not on schedule.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And I see that some people, give me 1 second here. Yeah. I just want to give a quick recap of what I started with, since I see some people have joined us. What I started with is a few of the areas that Spare5, our task managers and engineers, are working on to give a better tasking experience to the community. We know that recently we've had a lot of heavier images, a lot of heavier tasks. As you can imagine, an image with 100 outlines and boxes, has a lot of data involved. I can't really discuss the technical because I don't understand.
Right.
But we understand that these images can take a long time to load, and we know that there are times where it's very difficult to submit the images. It's a high priority for us to have better performance on the tasks to give you a better tasking experience. So we are aware this has been an issue for some of you, and we're working hard here to make sure it's not an issue moving forward. And again, very quickly, we're working to make sure you don't get as many 1-2 tasks at a time, to get better task serving to you. So you're not waiting for a task, you click on it, and then you're only able to do one. We know that's a frustrating experience. We're working to make sure you get bigger chunks when you do get them. And keyboard shortcuts. We've gotten a lot of requests when you're tasking on the web, why can't I, hit Control-I instead of incorrect or something, and we're working on getting more keyboard shortcuts into our tasks. And a question that comes up a lot, we are definitely working to get more real-time feedback for your tasking. We know that you want to know how you're tasking. We know that you want to know how you can task better. If you're making a mistake, or if you're not doing something according to the instructions, we know that you want to know what you're not tasking correctly and what you are doing well. So it's coming. We have tested it out in a few of our tasks, and that's towards a goal of getting it into all tasks where it's relevant. In-task, real-time feedback as you're tasking.
I want to address the question someone brought up. How would net neutrality affect Spare5? That's kind of uncertain for our users in the US. But essentially, the reason we support net neutrality is because we want everyone to have equal access to our website. We don't want anyone to be able to access Spare5 at a faster speed or given priority over anyone else. We believe that everyone should have equal access to our site and be given equal opportunity.
All right, gonna look through and see what questions are coming in.
Let's see what's happening. Estoy viendo muchos comentarios en español. Un recordatorio, este va a ser en inglés. Si hay tiempo, contestaremos preguntas en español al final.
And just this is kind of a follow-up. Someone says, hey, is there a way to report someone who does very poor work, especially on highlighting task? It's a bit unfair for us who do our work, who task diligently. There's two ways. If you're reviewing a task, of course, and you see something done incorrectly, please mark it incorrect. That's how we know someone is not tasking correctly. If you think you see someone who is deliberately tasking poorly or rushing through things, probably the best thing to do is to send a screenshot with information to support@spare5.com. We will certainly take a look at it and look at this person's other tasks. The reason we need a screenshot is because, you know, if you've done 500 tasks, say 500 review tasks, it's difficult for us to see. You know, we could check when you sent it to us, but, you know, say, hey, I was doing super pixel review and the task number, and, you know, here's a picture, and please take a look at it. I tasked, if you could tell us the time. That will give us, make it a little easier for us to find it. But certainly we understand it's frustrating when you're spending time tasking and you come across people who are not spending time tasking. Mm-hmm. So mark it incorrect, but you could also let us know directly and we'll take a look at it.
And on the same note, if you can take a screenshot, at least let us know the name of the task you're working on. It's a lot easier for us to help you. It's a lot faster. Sometimes we get emails that say, hey, I got an error, and that's all it says. So it's, you know, it takes a lot more time and effort on both ends to figure out what's happening.
All right. And got a question here about XP. XP are experience points. And there is no limit to experience points. There's no highest level. The more tasks, the higher your level, it improves your chances of getting tasks when there are tasks available, of course. And we try to, as I've said, we try to make more tasks available with fives with high levels, and not just high levels, but also a history of doing the tasks well in addition to high levels, which they're pretty connected. So
Herman is asking if there's an update on alternative methods of payment.
There is no current update on alternative methods of payment. We've discussed them here as we have a few ongoing discussions, but as of now, we are still paying through PayPal. If you have a suggestion, we've gotten payability and different types. If you have a suggestion, please send it to support@spare5.com or ayuda@spare5.com. And we'll take a look, but we do not have any immediate plans on changing our payout method from PayPal.
And we've heard your feedback on, you know, going through maybe Amazon gift cards and other alternative methods like that. And, you know, again, everything's being considered. We're in discussions about what can happen, but currently we're still sticking to PayPal.
Yeah. Yeah, if you have an idea like that or something we may not have thought of before, send it in. We'd be happy to take a look. I can't promise anything, but every suggestion we get that we didn't know about might be one that we use.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's about focusing on improving the experience for all of your current fives and making it easier for you.
Let's see. What is the limit of error that results in losing a task type? It's a tricky question. There's no number of errors. How it generally works is, you know, there are a lot of people tasking. We have a number of different review systems. As I mentioned before, we internally review tasks. There's the community that reviews tasks. And it's not a matter of, it's definitely not a matter of, oh, you did 10 wrong, so you're out of the task. It's, we look at everyone who's doing the task. We look at what, you know, what the standards are, what the standards are for the individual task, and we see, you know, among that, who is tasking the best and who's having more difficulty with it. And if people are having difficulty with it, as found through all of our different review systems, then they're going to get fewer of those tasks or possibly none of those specific tasks at all.
Okay.
And one thing that we've done recently that some people may have seen, if there's a 5 who has consistently had difficulty with different tasks, then they may be blocked from tasks for a time. We're going to be sending out more information about that. But there was a thread in the community, hey, the more tasks I do, isn't that the more chances I have of doing a task wrong and then I'll be blocked for it? It's not, we don't just count the number of wrong tasks and then, you know, if someone does gets 100 tasks that, you know, issues were found or they were flagged for some reason, but they've done 5,000 great tasks, well then overall they're fantastic. It doesn't, you know, it's how the task looks overall, it's how they compare to other 5s. There's a few, it's a little complicated to explain, but it's definitely not just most tasks though. Take a note.
Let's see. There are a lot of task-specific questions.
Yeah, task-specific questions, if you like, about how to do a task or about
like what is a label, like questions about like.
Yeah, this is the live chat is more for general Spare5 discussion about things you could suggest overall. If you have a question about how to do a specific task, that should be probably put in our community forums. If you're not familiar with our forums, on your home screen, I'm looking at the web here at least, if you go to the community link, you'll go to our forums. And there, you know, you can see task-specific categories. You could also, when you're inside a task, there's a little speech bubble. And if you click on that, if there's one there, that means we have a task-specific forum set up. And you could ask your question directly there. As you know, we try to answer all questions about tasks. But if you're asking, hey, which label do I use for the car task, you know, for the outline task, then you should ask that directly in the forums. Also, something to bring up, we try to answer a lot of questions in our FAQ, frequently asked questions. If you click on the support link, I don't have the app in front of me for iOS, but if you click on the support link, there is, you can see Spare5 FAQ and also ¿Quieres ayuda en español? I'm getting better. So we have an English language and a Spanish language FAQ. We try to answer a lot of these questions there. If there's something you think should be on the FAQ and is not there, you could send us a suggestion. But please check out our FAQs. We try to answer a lot of questions there.
Hold on, let me try something. Sí puedo traducir lo que estamos diciendo, pero el enfoque de este chat, de esta conversación, fue hacerlo en inglés porque tenemos usuarios que no entienden español y como ya tuvimos un chat en español anteriormente, queremos darle una voz a ellos. Próximamente tendremos otro chat en español, pero por el momento este se mantendrá en inglés.
All right, what else we got going on?
Let's see.
Sunshine asks, do skipping tasks, let me get the exact question. Does skipping tasks affect getting tasks? No, it's okay to skip a task. If you're doing a task and there's one you're unsure of or is very hard to do, or you know it's that specific task is confusing, there's no penalty for skipping a task. We kind of ask you don't skip too many tasks when you're doing a task set. You know, if we do see, you know, that you're doing like 1 out of every 50, there could be an issue. But in general, It's definitely better to skip a task than to do something you're not sure of and to submit it incorrectly. So if you're unsure of like a task, and then please check the instructions again. Go to the forums and ask a question. If it comes up a lot that you're unsure of something, please check in with us, ask your fellow fives. But there isn't a penalty for skipping a task.
About the Edge browser, we recommend Chrome or Firefox. We have a performance and rendering bugs with Edge, and we haven't been able to resolve that. Again, the focus of limited resources on the most important task experience and features is what we prioritize. Let's see, what else is coming up?
Let's see.
The VPN question, want to address that?
The which?
Can they use VPNs? So I see someone asking, can they use a VPN? It's not against our rules, therefore you can.
Yeah, we don't have a specific policy on VPN proxy issue. You're allowed to use them, but we do have policies about creating multiple accounts, about basically it's okay to use a VPN, but we do check to make sure that they're used legitimately and not to create multiple accounts.
Mm-hmm.
So the answer is it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
And just following up on see some more questions about review. As I said, these getting back to reviews and how it's decided who can and can do a task. Some tasks are harder than others. Some tasks have different requirements than others. We know that just based on what we see, based on us doing the test themselves, some tasks are easier than others. So, each task has its own standards for deciding how, we decide what a good score is and, if someone is going to be blocked from doing a task. We don't expect perfection. We know some of these tasks can be tricky. We just ask that when you're tasking, you try your best, you read the instructions and try to follow them. And again, we understand some tasks are harder than others, so we're prepared for that. So don't feel you need to get 100% correct, or if one's wrong, we're going to block you. That's never the case. We know some tasks are harder than others, and they're going to have different standards of how we review them.
Okay, we're getting down to the last 10, 15 minutes of the chat. Again, send us any questions that we haven't answered. A lot of the questions that are being sent we have already answered.
Well, we could quickly, sure.
Let's see.
How many accounts can we have in a house? We don't. If multiple people in your family have Spare5 accounts, what we say is, as long as they all task individually on their own accounts, we ask that they, all have their own. They must have their own PayPal address. Try to have your own email address. Definitely don't have one person set up 10 accounts for the entire house with their own information and different people task on it. We do review it. Kind of one of the things I said before with reviewing, we want to make sure that the right fives, who are good at tasking, get more tasks. We want to make sure we're blocking others. And if, someone has a lot of different accounts, that really makes it difficult, if not impossible, to do. So that's why we check to make sure you don't have multiple accounts. But it's definitely okay if different people in your household each have their own account.
Yep. Let's see what else.
Beat Studio asked, could you give the review task to more experienced users? They give it to those who are very new and do not know how to make corrections. Review tasks, more review tasks. This is true for all tasks, that more tasks are given to fives with the best experience, but it's more correct for our review tasks. Review tasks are limited to those who have demonstrated they could do that task. You don't get to do the review task nearly all of the time until you've shown you could do the source task. Mistakes are, of course, made, but we really try to make sure that review tasks, even more than the source regular task, are given to the fives with a history of doing task well. It's not to say that newer fives mive might not get a few review tasks, but we really try to make sure that review tasks, especially for the more difficult tasks, are limited to fives with a history of strong tasking, especially in that skill.
Okay. We have a user that keeps asking a question in Spanish and wants a Spanish answer, so let me address that real quick. Pedro, voy a contestar tu pregunta. ¿Por qué? Perdón, tu pregunta dice, ¿por qué te saca cada vez que estás trabajando en una tarea? Lo que pasa es que tenemos una cantidad limitada de tareas, haz de cuenta un set total, por ejemplo, de 1000. Y todas las personas tienen acceso a estas 1000 tareas al mismo tiempo. Y cuando todas las personas están trabajando en ellas, es posible que a veces después de que termines una tarea ya se hayan agotado, ya no haya más disponibles. Y esa es la razón por la que te saca y te manda a tu dashboard. Espero que haya contestado tu pregunta. Si tienes más preguntas en español, por favor envíame un mensaje a ayuda@spare5.com.
Sure. Let's see. Getting a question. This is it's task specific, but it covers a number of like, hey, what if somebody the task is they should only box one article of furniture or one fashion item or draw one line for the road, but they end up drawing 2 or 3 or 5. This is a tricky one because obviously the instructions say only draw, say, one road line. And then you do the review task and they've drawn 10, all of them. You could write to us and ask about this, but as a general rule, if the only mistake is we ask them to draw one line and they drew all the lines, but the lines are well drawn and they're labeled and everything else is perfect, you can please check with us, but as long as everything is done perfectly except that they did more that they should have, then it's okay to mark it correct. We'd prefer that they follow the instructions, and you could write to us and we'll try to get in touch, give us a little heads up about that, but we don't want to lose good tasks just because of that one issue.
Yeah.
So, and again, if you mark it incorrect, it's not that it is correct that it's incorrect. If that's the most confusing way I could put that. I think. It's incorrect in that we asked them to draw one road line, but if they drew 5 perfect road lines, we would kind of hate to lose that good task. You could write to us if you have questions about a specific task, or post it in the forum. All right.
More tasks.
Ron, yeah, getting a bunch of questions. Yeah, we said not to ask task-specific questions, but just if you have task-specific questions, please post them in the forum. We are getting a lot about raw material in the super pixel task, that label, and that task is kind of coming to a close now. If we run that task again, we're definitely going to have a little more explanation about the raw material labels. We understand there was a little confusion about that. We're discussing it with our partner and wish I had a better answer. But next time we run that task, we will explain that a little better.
Yeah. Where are the task questions?
Yeah, just we're getting more where are the task questions, and when there are tasks available and you are eligible for them, you'll see them on your task list. We have a whole room of people out there who are working hard to get more tasks up and running. We have people working with our existing partners and working with new partners to get new projects up and running. Mm-hmm. We've got engineers and task managers trying to get different tasks up and running. Writing to us will not get you more tasks. I do not have the power to create tasks out of thin air. We would love if there was always tons of tasks available, but if you've been with us for a while, sometimes there are more tasks, sometimes there are less tasks. we appreciate your patience if you are patient, and we just say we're working on some major projects, and we hope that they're up and running soon.
Yeah. All right. Last 10 minutes or so left.
10 minutes. If you have any, please, and it doesn't just have to be questions. If you have suggestions, if you have a complaint, if you have something you'd like to see changed.
Something nice to say.
Yeah, if you have something nice to say about how handsome we are, you know, that we would certainly appreciate that. If we block a specific, Bibin asked, if you block a specific task, we not again that type of task. That's a tricky way of wording it. The question is, if we are blocked from a specific task, do we not get that type of task again? If you are blocked from a task, if there's been a lot of tasks flagged, if, as I said before, you know, there's different weights we give. If you're blocked from a specific task, then no, you won't get more of that task, but you will still be eligible for that skill, for a similar task, for that type of task. So you're not going to get that one task, but as long as your previous task, overall tasks have been good, future tasks have been good, you're still eligible for different types of tasks. So if you're doing, you know, a bounding box task and there's, you know, issues with the labels, you may be blocked from that task for now, but you will still be eligible for different bounding box tasks. And just, again, we are working hard to get in-task direct feedback about your tasking up and running for all possible tasks.
Ken, someone's asking, what's a typical day for you and me here?
Typical day, let's see, what a typical day is, you know, we come in, I look at our community forums, I look at our email queues, I look at who's emailing us, I look at the report a problem channel. When you have problems with a task and you click report a problem, we get a message about that. And really, I try to look at what is the community want. We, as you know, if you've written to us, we answer your questions. So a lot of our day is, you know, seeing, hey, what is the community asking about? What problems are they having? Are they having a problem? Yeah, did 20 people write in, hey, I'm having problems with this one task? In that case, we take it, we talk to the task manager. Most of our day is set up really just responding to the community, seeing what you, the fives, want, what you're having trouble with, if anything's going well, if there's any bugs, things that need to be fixed. We're also, you know, working on getting different tasks translated with Spanish instructions. We spend some time looking at the different tasks, testing them out, making sure they're running well. You know, if you write in, hey, this isn't working, you know,
there's a 99% chance one of us can answer.
So yeah, that's a typical day for Ken and Rigo, is responding to the community. We love our community. We want to make sure you're happy as much as we could make you happy. We want to, if a lot of people have issues, if you have problems and you write to us, we want to, if possible, fix your problems. If we can't immediately fix your problems, we're going to talk to the people here who can. We're not programmers here or developers, but for example, there's been a number of people who have had technical issues doing our segmentation training tasks. Some of the scoring is not, you know, has been a little tricky, and there should be a little more, again, it's really similar to in-task feedback. If you're doing one specific thing wrong there, we'd like to do a better job explaining what you did wrong and giving you hints. So we've had a lot of people write in about that, and we are currently talking with the developers to try and fix that. They're working on that now.
I saw a question about taxes. The way that works is once you start getting close to $600, by law we are required for you to fill out some paperwork. And if that's the case, we actually reach out to you and send you the documentation. We cannot provide you feedback or information about how that may be for your country. We only know what U.S. law requires us. It's up to you really to do research if your country needs additional tax documentation.
Yeah, we can't provide how to fill out your own tax forms. Just if you haven't gotten anything, there's nothing to worry about. We inform you if we need paperwork from you. You don't have to do anything in advance. So yeah, a lot of questions about we know you'd like to know how many tasks were marked wrong, which specific tasks may have had an issue, or which were right. That would be a next phase. Did I almost hit you there? I didn't mean to almost hit you. That would be a next phase. As I said, we're trying to give you more in-task feedback, let you know a little more about how you're doing. We're not immediately planning to say, hey, you did 87% correct, and here are the 13% you did incorrect. We're trying to give you general information about the type of errors you're having, but even though we may in the future, that's not going to be part of this phase to tell you, like, give you an exact score.
Someone asked if they can meet one of the owners or founders of Spare5. If he's not camera shy.
Hey, we're all owners.
We're all owners. All right.
It's a rare voice appearance by. Let's see. All right, so we're coming to a close here. I just again want you to know you could continue to post suggestions and chats or comments or suggestions. We will be still looking in, even though the broadcast is about to come to a close. So please, and also, of course, write to support@spare5.com or post in our forums. And if you have questions, check our FAQ.
Yep. Before we go, Project Arepa. Yep, that's coming up. Confirmed by Ken in the forums. And
yeah, we have a forum where we ask for your suggestions on different new project names. Feel free to post there. I've let our task managers know about it, and if they need a project name, they'll be checking that forum thread. For ideas and suggestions. Keep it clean, guys. Come on.
Yeah, keep it clean.
Just to sum up what I started with, a big focus is for the next quarter, we're working on a better tasking experience for the fives. That's easier image loading, easier to submit tasks, fewer errors we definitely want to have, fewer hangups. Want to make sure you get more tasks in chunks rather than as many one or two at a time. And we're going to be adding some keyboard shortcuts there. Let's see. Do we have time
for our Spanish speakers? Just keep an eye out for more Spanish tasks. They're coming slowly but surely. You want to show them outside?
Oh yeah, and let's close. We'll give you. Let's see. You want to grab me?
Sure.
We're going to be.
Oh, wow. You want to tell them what's about to happen?
Oh yeah, and just as we close up here, just want to show you the view from our window. We are in downtown Seattle, Washington, United States. So
let's do it.
This is live, folks. We'll do it live. You are currently looking south, right? It's got to be south.
Yeah.
You're looking south into downtown Seattle. You can't quite. Oh, now I feel silly. We are looking north. Of course, that's the 4th and Pike building. Yeah, we'd have a few more mountains and water views elsewhere, but yeah. This is the view from our window here.
All right, well, we can sign out now.
All right, well, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Keep posting, send your questions and comments. I've got a question here. We've done a Spanish language live chat, and we will do more Spanish language live chats. You want to say that, Tim?
Vamos a hacer otro chat en español pronto, ojalá en la siguiente semana o dos, y si tienen preguntas en español, pueden enviárnoslas a mí o a Ken y se las contestaremos. Esto ha sido todo. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. And
thank you. Thank you for
soon.
joining us. Happy tasking.
Take care.